Hello and welcome to another episode of Leadership Talks by Advertising Vietnam and Precious Communications. My name is Lars Födisch and today's topic is sustainability and ethics in branding initiatives. And we are very delighted to have an expert in the field as a guest with us today. And that is Lê Anh. He's the Sustainability Director of DUYTAN Recycling. Welcome to the show today.
Hello, very nice to joining the show. I'm Lê Anh. I'm a Sustainability Director of DUYTAN Recycling. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So, have you ever know anything about recycling or recycling in Vietnam?
A little bit. Well, I'm originally from Germany, so we started recycling a long time ago. But what I know, especially in multiple FMCG sectors, there's a challenge because so far recycling seems to be more expensive than actually using virgin glass, plastic, and so on. Is that a systematic issue? Can that be solved? How can we do that? Because at the end of the day, normally cheaper price always wins.
Yes, that's true. So you see in Europe, especially in Germany, when you go to supermarket like DM, you see the machine there to collect the bottle. So every bottle in German, you have the deposit like 25 cents in the bottle, and when you return the bottle, you have the deposit. But in Vietnam, so far, we have to collect everything by manual. And that's why the recycling in Vietnam is more higher than virgin. That is not only a scheme in Vietnam, but over all the world, the recycled plastic is more higher than virgin, from 30 to 35%. So the brand, they willing to use recycled plastic like this bottle, so they very pioneer for environment protection, especially in Vietnam, when they use it without any purpose, only good for environment and good for their brand.
So we have a few examples here, and what I understand is it's especially global MNCs so far who are pushing recycling. Maybe you can just give us a quick run through on what we see here so that people know what we talk about. So this is the normal bottle. This is a different degree. Then we have the label. And what's in this? These are not pills, right?
Okay. Yeah, this is quite technical. So maybe people, they just take a look into this. They don't know what it is, right? So you see when we rim the bottle, we finish. So the scrap bottle will come to the recycle bin. So our informal people, they collect this bottle, they come to the factory with empty bottle, and with our machine in the factory, the system is from Europe, so we create, this is a plastic pallet. So different from the virgin one, this is recycled, and we are collect within Vietnam. And the special of this pallet is we can create the bottle again. It's called the bottle-to-bottle technology. Okay. So the bottle come to the pallet and get blow up to the bottle again. So it's called the bottle-to-bottle. And the pallet from us can achieve the food grade. Okay. So can apply to the food product. So that's why it's become a circular economy.
Is there a limitation on how many times you can recycle plastic these days? Because originally it was always downstream downgrading. So a bottle became a cap, became a chair, but there's not fully circular yet.
With the technology now, so the bottle can recycle me. But we have a standard for our collection, like the Buriti. So we have a standard for our ocean shop. So how they can provide us. So like this bottle, you correct. You see this bottle only, but they have 3 types of material. This transparent is from BT. This cap is from another material, and this label is from another material. Okay. So only the bottle itself, like this transparent, it can recycle. So mostly you see on the bottle, they mention the PET is recycled 100%, but the cap is downstream to another type of material like the chair, like the pallet using in the factory, and this one also we have to downstream. But I think with the technology, it will also have a solution for those kind of material. And we also working with the Ministry of Environment. We also advise them how to use the standard to the product is more recycle friendly, like what type of material you should use for the cap, what type of material you should use for label, and this is also standard in the world.
Thanks for the technical introduction. Let's talk about branding and ethics. So one very practical challenge is, you said, or we started talking about that it's especially global brands so far that are pushing that. Does it bring their costs up? And at the end of the day, are consumers willing to pay more? And where does it leave, for example, Vietnamese brands?
With global brand, I see very strong commitment, because I believe that global they have their global commitment for the earth. But for Vietnam, we already have the new decree already applied in 1st of January 2024. It's called the EPR, or Extend Producer Responsibility. So before that, producer, they only take responsibility for the good inside. But now they also have to take responsibility for the packaging. Okay. So for each material, they have to take back the packaging, like the plastic, like the paper, like the aluminum. After they put in the market, they have the percentage they have to take back. How they can take back, they can take back to the recycler, to the packaging organization, or if don't have the technology to recycle, they pay the fee. It's called the FS, and it's multiple with the volume you put into the market, and multiple with the ratio of that material.
That's great that brands have to do it, but does that mean costs will go up and consumers have to pay for it at the end of the day? Or are there actually economies of scale that if everybody does it, the costs go down?
Up to now, with those brands they are using recycle, the material is 30% more expensive. But so far, I observe on the market, everything is not taking into the price. So maybe they take into their sustainability fund. It's a different from business it's cost. And I think they very funny. And in Vietnam, I believe if the brand they using recycled product, they also take into their sustainability fee, not into their business fee.
What's tricky, because at the end of the day, your shareholders will only care about your business fee, not your sustainability fee, right?
Yes.
At the end of the day, it all ends up with what's your profit.
Correct. That's also true. But now, if you observe on the stock market, beside the business report, they also have to have the sustainability report. Yeah. So that is the very key index, even for the listed company, and also non-listed company. They also care about responsibility, sustainability, and recently you see many company and many conference they said about CSR or ESG.
Yeah.
So all the company, I believe, with the extend producer responsibility and with the EPR they apply, so they will go ahead about the sustainability.
Let's talk a little bit about realities. So you are at the core. You know who is able to produce, where are the sources of recycling, but I'm sure you're also seeing some brands that making claims that are not true, or?
I believe in the market have this and that, but for the government side, that because they already issued the law, so everybody, I think, have to comply with the law, else they have the big penalties. So I think with the government law is very important and play very big role in the company sustainability, because they have to follow the rule.
Just want to look at it, for example. So could I be a brand and say, this is a recycled bottle, but only the PET is recycled and the rest are not? Is that a fair claim to say it's a recycled bottle or not?
They said in the law that the majority we can claim for the whole, like this bottle, you see the majority is PET, so they can claim for the whole bottle it's PET.
So 51%, that's all you have to do at the moment. 80%.
80%
okay.
You can claim. So like this one, you only can claim for the recycle for PET.
Okay.
For the whole bottle.
Another question is what we've seen a lot in different markets is that on one end, consumers don't necessarily want to pay more unless those that can afford it. At the same time, you have activists that say, it doesn't matter what you do, it's never enough. So how do you balance we are here, that's where we want to go, but it takes time? Because I think your company has a 3 no claim: no waste, no wastewater, and
no air pollution.
Yeah. Have you achieved that already, or is that the goal where you want
We
to
achieved
go?
already,
Okay.
because our environment in our first DNA. So we go everything for environment. So that's why we got 3-0. And for the company, I think is a journey. Is a journey. It's not existing journey. It's a future journey. It's go for sustainability. And as I talking with the brand, so they willing go for that, and they willing to pay the sustainability fee for the brand, for the future of our next generation. So as you see on the newspaper that our Prime Minister, Mr. Phạm already confirmed on the COP26 that we will go net zero on 2050, and with the 3 pillar: energy, transportation, and recycling. So we believe that, and the company is going good and doing good practice in both energy, transportation, and recycling, can become a pioneer in the environment protection and sustainability.
Isn't that a little bit of a challenge right now? Because even if you recycle the bottle, the transportation to collect the waste, is that already zero impact? Or the energy you use, is that zero impact at the moment?
So for our internal transportation, we use electric car.
Okay.
Not electric car, we use electric forklift. And everything we try to minimize the impact to the environment. So like our water, we also recycle water. 80% of the water we can recycle. So if you come to our factory, you supply that the water after we use in the washing line. After we purify, it can put in the water pond, and we put the fish inside.
What's the target in terms of when you want to go completely green? You know, all recycled vehicles are electric. The electricity you use comes from renewable sources, because the up and downstream is very long, and that's a challenge also for some of your customers, I assume, right?
Yeah. So we go for the future. And we was in this plastic for 38 years, and then we moved to this recycling. So we aim everything must be green, and everything should contribute to environment. So with the recycling plastic, we product every day. You know, we collect 100 tons of post-consumer plastic. If talking about ton, maybe people cannot imagine how easy is that. So I tell you that 100 ton is 6 million bottles. So if we put the bottle together, is 420 kilometers.
Okay.
So it's the distance from here to Nhate, everything in plastic bottle.
100 tons
Yes.
per day. That's what you collect. How many tons of plastic are getting into the market every day, so that we see an idea on what's recycled,
Every
what's out there?
day, I believe, must be at least 20,000. So around 2,000 tons.
So you're doing about 5%.
5%
of the
of
market.
the
So it's still a long journey.
Yeah.
Great that you're there. Thanks so much for sharing a lot about how the industry works, what your company is doing. As you're at the forefront of sustainability communications, do you have any words of advice for other companies, either on the customer side or the production side, on how to talk about recycling without being called out for greenwashing?
I think sustainability in Vietnam, especially recycling, is the long journey, and everybody have to hand up to go forward, like the brand, the government, the production, like us. So everything had to hand up and go for the future journey. It's good for the next generation. Like now, recently, you see, we also spoke out in a lot of conference for advising. For those, we have 24 companies in the list of certified recycling by Ministry of Environment. But among that, we see not everybody active, because the manufacturing, they're not very active, they're not willing to speak out. So hopefully we all join together to build up the team to go for environment. And for the brand, I hope not only the global brand, but also local brands should looking for their sustainability journey and how to react on EPR. And we, as the pioneer in this segment, we are willing to support brand, to support our partner on their sustainability journey.
So you said journey a few times. What's an acceptable time frame? So everybody can say is, we're not fully green now, we want to go fully green in the future. That's very vague.
Yes,
what do you think is an acceptable time frame that brands should look at and action on?
It's depend on the brand, but as my advice to the brand or the company, they should have very strict target and they have the KPI for sustainability. Many companies, they already put the sustainability in the KPI. So they set it's the future, but future have to set how many years for this. Like this is, you have the timeline. Like this bottle, you have the target like 50% recycling by 2025, 100% by 2030. Some companies, they already have, but some companies, they don't have. They just said this is the future. We go future for this recycling, but you set the target, you will go for it. Because you see the goal, you see the final destination, you will make your road to it. Else you said, oh, this is somewhere in the sky, you maybe not really look into it.
Do you think that especially in Vietnam, the stock market already puts enough credibility on companies having transparent KPIs on sustainability, or there still needs to be some maturing compared, for example, to the US market?
I think they take time. Some pioneer company like VN30, they already have, I think, believe they have very good report on ESG. But the rest, I really, I think they also take time to compare with the other developed country like in the US, in the Europe. And I believe Vietnam for the next few years, you will see the growing for ESG. You see that in Germany and in Europe, you apply ESG and sustainability and recycling since 1980. So you already take like 40 years to have Europe now. But now with the technology, with the information, with the support, I believe Vietnam not go for 40 years. We can go for 5 to 10 years to grow up and to develop for sustainability.
Where in a company should sustainability and ESG sit? Because I've seen companies where it's part of finance, it's part of operations, or it's a communications role. What do you think? Two things. Where should it sit in a company? And what are the key skills for sustainability director needed?
For the brand I know, they have the budget for sustainability. Beside the business, operation, transportation, they already have the budget for sustainability. That include the communication, that include the fee for this kind of bottle, that include the transportation, for example. So I believe this not only the trend, but the company will actually implement and they will have their KPI and budget for sustainability.
But who do you report to in your company? Let's start there. The CEO, the head of marketing, the head
CEO
of
direct.
CEO direct.
You see, in our company, sustainability is the DNA. So everything related to environment, to sustainability, I report direct to the CEO and to the board of directors.
For marketers out there that are not only looking after sustainability, but their brands in drinks, in pens, do you have any advice how they can get started to also use credible KPIs to really know what to focus on, that knowingly or unknowingly they don't get called out for greenwash? What's a good starting point to really get into ESG and sustainability?
Recently, on the market have a lot of seminar and conference about sustainability and about the EPR, extend producer responsibility. So I believe if you join the seminar, you get in well with those people who join it, you will get some information. And we also provide to our client the update of EPR, the update of market situation, the update of the region, like I was talking in KL few days ago. So I believe with the information now, you can search on internet and you have to set up your sustainability journey. So to see where you are now and where you want to go for the next year, the next 3 years.
Excellent. Okay, and that concludes today's episode of Leadership Talks. We talked about sustainability and ethics in branding initiatives, and I believe, like these pallets, of recycled plastic, it needs one pellet at a time, so it's a thing for every marketer out there. And I'm very grateful that we had Lê Anh here today with us from Sweden Plastics and Recycling. Thank you so much for joining Leadership Talks.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm very happy to share the recycling industry and the market in Vietnam. Thank you.